Education, Laurie Kilmartin.
Let's be ready. Hi, Laurie.
Hello. So, I mean, I've been following your saga on Twitter and in the chat, but I didn't want to look too hard. I wanted you to surprise me with the horrible.
Save it for the pod.
Yeah.
In the words of Laurie Kilmartin, couldn't do it because it was such a freaking nightmare. So I am in St. Louis, just working the helium opening for Maria.
I love the headboard of your hotel, by the way. It looks like you're in a nice place.
It is a nice place, but it's far from the club, and they've discontinued the shuttle. And there's a hometown suites right across the street from the club.
Yeah.
And I wish we were there.
Because they have a shuttle?
No, because it's right across the street, and it's $25 to take a lift to the club. And
they're not reimbursed. They'll reimburse you, right?
Yeah.
What's happening?
I'm featuring.
Okay.
Yeah. And Maria recovered. Here's what happened. So it snowed like heck on the Tuesday, Wednesday of this week in St. Louis. And so schools were closed, airports were shut down, flights were canceled. Maria was flying in the day before. But since I had just gotten home from last week's work, wherever I was, Madison, I think.
Madison.
I decided to fly in day of the show, which I like flying in day before the show because then you can get a good night's rest. You can chill and it's all very good. But I end up at home. So I was like, I want to fly in on Thursday. So I'm going to fly in on Thursday. But she was going to fly in on Wednesday, all canceled. Wow. And then Thursday night show canceled.
Because of the snow?
Because of the snow. And so we both flew in on Thursday for Friday shows. And it's Saturday now. But so she got there at like 11:30. The club sent a car like they do for the headliner. And I got there at 12:30.
Oh, no. You're getting feature treatment, and it is not good.
It can make you sympathetic, right?
Sure.
And so 12:30, 1:00 in the morning, there's no taxis at the St. Louis airport.
Oh my God.
No Ubers and Lyfts. I tried both apps. Nobody's working. I waited about a half an hour. They kept saying, we're sorry. Uber even gave me a $5 discount for another ride.
Man.
That will mythically one day happen. And so it's 12:30. And so it's 1:00 in the morning. And so I decide, I look up limo services. And
party buses.
Do you guys have a whirlpool? I'm going 7.5 miles.
So let's take a drive around St. Louis. This is going to be a 2-hour expedition.
Is there a blowhole that I can stick my head out of? God, that is a missed opportunity, Laurie.
Damn it.
That I did not do any of that.
I think it's going to happen again. That's my sense.
So I called, I found one that was 24-hour. And so the guy answered and I was like, hey, what would it cost to get me 7.5 miles? And he goes, it's $100. And so I gave him all my cash, $120, because guess what I wanted? To be in a hotel room. And so it's, now it's 1:15, 1:30. It takes him 20 minutes to get there. In that 20 minutes, a guy sitting next to me is like, do you need to go to Clayton? And I was like, yeah. He said, well, I got a car coming if you want to share it. And I was like, I got several ways of dying this evening. I think I'm, and I was like, maybe, because this guy might blow me off, right? And so his snatch me, he had a gray snatch me van come and get him. And he was like, do you want to come with us?
Snatch me van? Like
just a windowless,
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was like, can I get that guy's card just in case this guy doesn't show up? Because he says he's coming. I called him and he was like, I'm almost there. So,
wait, so the van was just a dude that he doesn't even work for Uber or Lyft. He just drives around.
I don't know how this software salesman who had just gotten off the airplane that I had gotten off of.
Yeah.
from Phoenix. I don't know how he got him, but I did
Yes.
eventually. I got that guy's number, and I was like, if my guy doesn't show up, I'm going to call you back. And he goes, fair enough. And
Okay.
so my guy shows up, Alex. You
Mhm.
saw in the thread, I took I snapshot at the name of the company and his name, and I was like, I'm going to bookend this in case I'm murdered.
Mhm.
And, and so I was not murdered. I gave him the money. He was very nice, and Maria reimbursed me the $120.
Nice.
Which here is a wonderful and interesting fun fact about my career at this point is that the example that I have been given, a beautiful example of generosity
Mhm.
to me, to open from people who have closed. The examples that I have are Maria Bamford, Brian Regan, and Kathleen Madigan,
Wow.
all of whom are very generous. By the way, they are not exceptionally generous. They are just, and it's Maria's the only one who's ridiculously goes over the proportion of what it ought to be. When
Right.
she's making too much money or what she thinks is so much money, she gives me a bump, and everyone around her. But with Brian and with Kathleen, the way they tip. So I tipped last weekend and the weekend before. So Royal Oak and Madison, I tipped using the Kathleen Madigan School of Tipping. And or what I learned from her, which is
Right.
everyone in the staff, from scullery maids to footmen, from people doing the dishes to working the door,
Mhm.
everyone gets $20.
How much are you making?
Well, that's not as much as Kathleen Madigan, right?
Right.
But what it ends up costing is about $250, $300, right? It's less than $300.
Jackie, that's a lot.
It is a lot, but it is also not. The club is also covering, at this point in my career, the club is also covering my airfare.
Mhm.
These headline gigs.
Right.
So, I have hotel and air. Hotel is standard, but air
Mhm.
is another level up, right?
Are
So
you, is this all your merch money?
it's essentially, it is a fair bit of my merch money. Not all of it. I mean, some weeks I make like $600 or $700 in merch,
Wow.
and some weeks I make 300, and some weeks I make more than that if I'm opening for Maria.
Wow.
Sometimes I'll make a lot of money, but the weird thing,
Book sales aren't that high, Jackie.
and they're heavy. So you need
I'd have to sell like 7 shelves worth of books.
have you thought about selling a pin that says what's the name of the dad book?
Dead People Suck.
Dead People Suck. Have you thought about selling a pin that says Dead People Suck?
No, I don't believe in pins. Why do
They're
I want to fill the ocean floor with pins?
Because they're lighter.
That's true.
You've asked about pins, otherwise I would not have brought them up. Yeah, but it just occurred to me that that's a good pin idea. Another one is another shitty mom, or just one of your jokes, which is, a joke that
I know how merch works. But yeah, no,
it's true. You do know how much. You don't actually need all of this.
it does feel like extra money, but
Yeah. Well, and
I haven't even sold merch since Omicron started.
Well, and the thing is with this, with the $200 that it costs, because usually there's 10 people who work there, right? So it's
Yeah, but
$200.
they're not all there at the end of the week. Like, how do you know that you get it?
I tip out on Saturday. Whoever's
Everyone
there.
who's there on Saturday gets $20.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's $200, and it can be, especially during the pandemic, such a thankless job.
Yeah.
Work in a comedy club. So,
Right.
but I was telling Maria that I was like, it feels like a lot of money. And she said, I know, don't you want a give cam? Don't you wish that there was a nice camera going, look what I'm giving you? And is there a parade or a statue? And she's like, I love a give cam, the idea. And I was like, yeah, there is no give Kim, is there? She's like, no, you just got to do it or not do it, and deal with the fact that you're either doing it or not doing it. But I love that my example is a generous person, right?
Mhm.
And people who make good money. And I don't know. I mean, I am pragmatic and not a huge, I'm not a crystal clutcher. I'm a hippie skippy, right? I got it. So what you give, you get back, right?
Yeah.
So I think my generosity will not be, it's fine. I live indoors. I make enough money to live. You know, I also don't have a kid who wants to go to college. So
But I
it's
don't know if he
fine.
wants to go to college, Jack.
Right, you might want to go to art school. So Maria
that's
was
cool.
telling me that outsider art is very popular right now, you know, because her husband is a fine artist. And
Yeah.
and he has a new where they show, what's it called?
Gallery.
Yeah, well, yeah, a gallery's showing his work. Can you hear this
Oh.
hotel coffee maker?
Yes, I can. But
Okay, well, that's the hotel coffee maker. I'm not gurgling. I noticed my nose is stuffed up, by the way. So
what could it be? You're in, let's see, you're in Missouri with a
It's 25 degrees.
300% COVID positivity rate. I wonder why you're.
Why my nose is stuffed up? I think it's just the travel crowd.
Yeah. Yes.
And,
Wearing a mask for 6 or 7 hours or 9 hours or 12 hours really fucks with your throat and nose.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, they were a little tight for a show last night. And so they were super nice, and they said afterwards that they had a really good time. But Maria had some woman very drunk in the audience first show, who about 35 minutes into her set yelled, "Talk about your mom."
Oh shit. Wow.
And Maria stopped the show and she was like, I actually do have some material about my mom. Did you come here to hear that? And the woman's like, yeah.
Oh my God.
And Maria's like, well, it's gonna happen. Can you wait? And the woman, there's like this long silence. And Maria goes, I mean, it's cool if you can. I mean, you may have to come another time, because I have this other material I'm working on.
Oh my God. And the woman agreed to wait.
Yeah. Thank you, audience member, for agreeing to wait. And Maria could not have been nicer to this person. And she was just like, and then she went back into her material, and then
I'm already licking my chops at the idea of that happening.
You are rocking back and forth in an autistic frenzy.
Please.
I know you would have completely eviscerated the woman and then posted the clip. And but Maria she felt bad for the woman, and she I was like, well, you handled it as good as you could. And then second show was super light, just because but first show was sold out, or full, I think, if not completely sold out, because Missouri is like all Midwestern states. Once the weather is terrible, people are like, get in the car, we're going out, we're gonna risk our lives.
Yeah, right.
And
like what I found out in on my Friday shows at Acme, during the snowstorm, they won't come out. But afterwards, that's when they come out. Because we had really light Friday shows. And I was like, oh, he's never gonna have me back. But then the Saturday.
The thing is I think, the best club owners know that you cannot control the weather.
Yeah.
And Lewis is one of the best. So
yep.
I am so second show, got 2 more shows tonight. Maria helped me write some good jokes about my dog. I have a dog, you guys. And
Gordy,
still have a dog. It's still fun to say I have a dog.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I have a kid. It's still fun to say I have a kid.
Still fun to say I have a kid. How's it going out there? How's it going in Los Angeles?
Oh, it's good. I had a couple nights off, and then I had sets last night and the night before that were fun. I felt like I was low energy last night unexpectedly, and I couldn't flip my flip my energy in the middle of my set.
Right, that would have been spooky. It would have been real spooky.
And I got one tonight at Flappers. And,
Okay.
And then on Monday, I'm having a colonoscopy. So tomorrow
Congratulations.
is that shitty day. I mean, it's the day where you can't eat anything. You got to drink these. You have to. They
Clay
don't
thing.
have that. You don't have to do that. Drink that orange stuff anymore. It's like these
Okay.
tablets, and they give you, horrific diarrhea. And then,
Right.
so tomorrow's just going to be a hell day.
Right. Well, I'm glad we're taping it today. Taping the show
Me too.
today.
I would be enraged tomorrow. And already, I can't eat apples. Like you.
Right.
It's. And
you can't eat anything. Is that true all day?
Well, today I can, but it can only be like white rice or pasta or all I know is it can't be apples, and I've never wanted an apple more in my life. No nuts, no peanut butter,
Right. What am I supposed to be getting another how often are you supposed to get a colonoscopy?
You're supposed to get them every 10 years, but I had some activity.
Oh, you had a thing
in my colon, so they wanted to see me sooner to make sure there was
right. I got a text message from Kaiser telling them that I need to go get the big peek and scrape. And I was like, all right, feel free to have an appointment sometime that isn't. So I'm in Portland this week. I come home and then I leave again on Thursday.
Yeah.
And this club, the St. Louis Helium, Erica Rhodes is just doing Valentine's night, which I think is Sunday this year.
I have no work on Valentine's Day. Does this mean I'm not even a female comic anymore?
It maybe you become non-binary. Maybe you're available to work other bigger clubs.
Different holidays.
Yeah, different. Well, maybe just a regular week.
I guess I'm not a romantic comedian though.
I do know that as a fact, but I don't know that the clubs think of it. I would not be surprised if you were offered a Valentine's kind of thing.
I would, because it's
Ventura,
like in 3 days.
I know. Well, it's next weekend, right? It's a week from Sunday, maybe.
It's like a Tuesday or something, a Monday or a Tuesday.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Monday. It's a week from today. It's a week from the day this comes out.
Right.
Interesting. And what about I don't know where maybe Randy Lewis.
He's not in comedy anymore.
Did he sell the Ventura?
You don't have to. I'm just pointing it out. I don't want you to list bookers that aren't booking me while you sit there like a cocky asshole in your hotel with a headboard behind you and a travel story. Okay.
I would easily give up this fucking travel
and
story.
Your big stories. Yeah, I don't need it. Thank you.
Well, then you fill this hour.
Well, I have no work this month. I'm just trying. You're trying to what? You're trying to what?
I'm trying to fill the hour. Trying to fill the hour, fucker. Why don't you? Why don't you get off my areola, as Janelle Monáe would say?
Oh, there you go. So I've been working on a pilot with somebody.
That's right.
Coming
Which
along.
Is fancy. Is it?
What?
Great.
We rented we got a little office space above a store in Burbank. And that made me think, well, maybe I need an office to finish this novel, right? And so not this space, because the space we're in is very casual, but since we're working off of each other, we keep pushing each other to, do work. But it's definitely, if I was just there by myself, say after we finished working on this, I could easily tweet there. You know what I mean? I need a place that looks like a prison. So I started looking at like co-sharing or co-working spaces. There's lots of little places all over, especially Los Angeles, where people pop in you can rent something for like, a couple months or whatever you want to do. So I went to this place that's not too far from here, and they like the woman was showing me like really nice conference built, and there's windows, and I'm like, I need something really.
I need a closet with a cinder block.
Literally, it's a former closet. It is smaller than my bathroom, and
Does that make it cheaper too?
Oh, it's way cheaper. Yeah, it's still expensive in that it's like, I'm gonna commit to this till the end of May. I have some road work in that time that would like some, 4 or 5 day week things. But for the most part, most of my road work is Friday, Saturday stuff. And so if I can, I think I could finish it in 3 months from March, April, May,
Okay.
And so I'm kind of excited. That's all.
Yeah.
It's like, it's got a whiteboard and a desk.
You love a
chair,
whiteboard.
and that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Mhm.
And it has internet or no?
Oh, it has internet. Yeah. There's
Okay.
like, and there's like, there's a coffee area, and there's like, it's like a kind of, how you would set up a dorm or something like that. And there's other people from other shows, and there's an accountant. There's like all these, different kind of weird, different kinds of people that need a room for a little while,
I have to say that I would like a give Cam for not busting your chops about spending money on an office. And
Right.
having a novel to write, and to have a script to write, because you just bitched at me that I have a headboard, and so
Now,
I'm like a
Jackie,
small parade. Yeah, that's
this
right.
entire time I've been talking, you've just been angry that you weren't interrupting me.
Just white knuckling it, just going, don't say anything,
Go
just
to a
let her
meeting,
celebrate
bitch.
it. No, that actually sounds really cool. So yeah, because it'll get you out of the house, and it's like
I need to get out of the house. I need to go
a third
someplace.
destination. Yeah.
I get in my car, and it be a different, like a place where I come here. There's nothing to look at. I don't fuck around, and I either write 1,000 words or something like that every single day, or maybe more. I don't know. I hope.
Right. You just get something. Yeah, I mean, it's worth a try.
It is worth a try.
Yeah,
because
I
have.
What if it works?
Otherwise, pardon?
Like, what if it works? How great would that be if it just fucking worked?
Oh yeah.
And you just start cranking out some at least a draft, right?
Yeah.
You're doing draft. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And
one of the waiters last night said that he is a slam poet, and he started working at the comedy club, and he's like, I started thinking, I do spoken word. I could do stand-up. And I was like, well, you're halfway there. You just need punchlines, buddy. And I mean, who am I to say that he's like,
do you need punchlines? Have you been out, Jackie, watching?
Have I been out?
Comedy?
And I have the weird thing about doing 25s in front of Maria is that and having brought like the entire contents of my garage with me, because I was so ambitious, because Maria doesn't sell any merch, and I was like, oh, I could get rid of a bunch of this merch. I want to because I'm going to discontinue the Meat Shield t-shirts and pins, because it's been 5 years and I've donated 11 grand, and so if I can essentially finish off what's left in the bins, because I've always kept enough reserve money to order the next batch.
Yeah.
But if I sell off this stuff, I can donate whatever this money, the selling money, and then the reserve, and then sort of be done with it and think about the next thing, if I want to do another charity.
Donating to an IRA account for you in your old age?
I have Darla has
She's in charge.
She's in charge, and she's like, what do you have any money that you could throw into retirement? A bunch of people are retiring. I was just talking to people, and they're like, well, I have this saved, I have that saved. And I was
comedians?
Like,
not comedians.
Oh no, not comedians.
Just regular folk.
People with jobs who
are they retiring to start comedy?
No, it's slam poetry. So they decided they're going to get into some slam poetry. I don't know what they're doing, but I know that they are, that it's got, and Andy and I talking, they're like, Andy was like, I can't retire now. I'm just sort of getting a handle on this.
Right.
And I was like, fair enough, man, me too.
This is what I feel like the industry, okay, like the comedy industry, they pick some comics, like this is what it seems like to me, in their late 20s and early 30s, and they're like, we're all in on this person, no matter what, no matter how bad they get, no matter what, we will keep throwing money and TV shows at this person. We're investing in them early in the hopes that they become huge, right?
Right, and they don't want to be wrong.
They don't want to be
even if
wrong.
they get into drugs and alcohol and
They'll
and
just
fucking
they'll figure
children.
out a way to
Yes.
prop them up, right? So
Yeah.
they keep going in, and then if they didn't invest in you early, they have no interest, And so I feel like you get to be our age, and they're like, well, if we were going to invest in you, we would have done it 20 years ago, and now we can't make any money off you because you're almost dead.
That's what it feels like. I don't know if that's actually it, but it definitely has that vibe to it. And I do think you're right that when they invest in somebody early on, they don't want to admit that they're wrong. So even if, even if someone is a giant mess or has gone off the deep end a little bit, or
they're just not that good.
But they, like Tim Allen. Let's talk about Tim Allen, who it was huge, that sitcom that he was in, right? So they've given him another sitcom, even though he's sort of, drank some Kool-Aid here, and he's kind of lost his mind sociopolitically, right?
Well,
and
he wouldn't be an example I'm thinking of, but I guess I know what you're saying. He just.
There's younger versions.
Create the comedy industry that decided to start picking off like 28-year-olds, you know what I mean, at Montreal.
Right. Well, look at Mitch Hedberg, right? So Mitch Hedberg, they invested in, and then he started doing heroin.
All your examples.
Dudes?
Well, dudes that are dead or emotionally dead. Well, because these real ones, because
TJ Miller, right?
Okay, yeah.
So TJ Miller is, he got to be in Deadpool, he got to be in other like weird, wacky movies and stuff.
Yeah.
But the guy is essentially, and he's, his stand-up is, for me, it was always hit and miss, but it was always, I remember being in the room, and it is mesmerizing just because he's so bucked up. You don't know what's going to happen. And usually that makes me leave the room.
Right. Because
I don't enjoy snuff films. And so but he has literally, like, because of his drug and alcohol use, he is a mess. And then the way he responds, like that thing he did where he called the FBI on the train.
Oh yeah, called in a fake bomb.
He called in a fake, and then it came out, and I don't know if this is true, but it came out that he was hitting on the girl on the train, some woman on a train, and she said no, and so that's when he called it a bomb threat on her, that she was a terrorist.
Oh really?
That was the scuttlebutt, and and I was like,
that's beyond asshole. That's like mentally off.
Right. Well, talk about going and finding a meeting. Jesus. Like, trying to get some help, brother. Yeah. And because, and they do double down on that guy. I think he got fired from the Deadpool series.
Yeah, I think he got canned from a lot of stuff.
He got canned from some of the TV stuff, but his stand-up career is doing fine. He wanders the earth, doing stand-up and being super drunk and high, and not, by the way, tipping out. Because there was some scuttlebutt at the club. They were like, he didn't even tip the guys that sold his merch for him.
Damn.
Wow.
And that is dumb. That's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to take a stand and say that, dude, you have at least $20 a night for the person who's raking in your cash. So
right. Sometimes
You
I
wanna-
take in dead people books, Jackie.
Oh, yeah. I always make them buy the merch for retail.
Okay, yeah.
And then I tip them out.
Yeah.
Which is what the cost of the merch is. Anyway, let's take a break.
Okay, I still want to complain about what I was talking about. I wasn't satisfied with your examples, so I have more to say. But yeah.
Thank God. And let's do the comic of the week.
Yes.
You work with her in the attic, right?
Yes, comic of the week is Ellie Hino, ELLIEHINO. And I worked with her in the attic. She's from Minneapolis, I guess.
Oh,
But I
that's
worked
cool.
with her in Indiana in Bloomington. Very funny,
Yeah, I can't wait to
a
meet her.
mom, a wife, and very cranky about it all.
So some of your favorite tropes.
Types of people caught in lives that have caused them despair.
They fell into it.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Okay. So I was going to talk about some of my new merch, my new material, but what other examples do you have?
Oh, I'm not going to say them because they're out there in the world and they're, I'm just saying it's frustrating if you weren't picked, which we weren't many years ago, you and I would say, we weren't the golden children of our class. Right.
Right.
And I feel like some of them quit comedy. And I want to go, well, wow, looks like you guys made a bad bet because that one's like not even doing stand-up anymore,
So there should be a slot. There should be a spot for me. What about now?
Yes.
And
now they're like, nah, it's too much. Sorry, you're too old. You'll have to work till you're 80 for me to make the money I want to make off you. Yeah, I will work till I'm 80.
Right.
So
who's not working? Who's not working till they're 80?
I have no idea.
It's the nature of the industry is you need the attention until you die. So we work until we die. Right?
That reminds me of, and then I got my agent, my writing agent, my lit agent dropped me after I had a baby. And then after that, I wrote 2 books and I worked on a late night show for 10 years.
Right. So they talk about missing out on the cash cow.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I got to keep a little extra 10%. That was nice. So
Not
what
even
am I saying?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying,
what am I saying? Yeah.
That if had I had that person during my Conan years, maybe I wouldn't be like just sort of floating right now. I have no idea. I'm just saying it's annoying to see it happen. And I know it's still, I know there's comics that are in their 30s now watching it happen to other people going, it's not happening to me. Right. At some point you realize, oh, I'm not one of the golden children of my comedy class.
Yes.
Right? And it's
that is true.
It's frustrating.
But it doesn't matter.
Like people working and writing and doing all the things you're supposed to be doing, but dum-dums in the industry are like, no, I'm sorry, we picked a version of you that's thinner, or we picked a version of you that's sexier, or whatever. You know
right.
what I mean?
Those 2 people who were the golden child of my comedy class.
Okay.
They're both working, but
Yeah.
one's working behind the scenes and one's working in weird, not mainstream.
Right.
But both making a living and both doing
Yeah.
fine. I mean, I had somebody who was talking to me about wanting to do. They were relatively. They were working, right? They're where I was probably 4 years ago, which is they were low end headliner money, working, grinding it out 40 weeks a year. And and they were lamenting not being famous, or they wanted to get writing jobs and all this stuff. And I was like, well, you got to put your attention on getting those writing jobs. And do you still want to do stand-up? And they're like, well, yeah, I still want to do my 40 weeks a year. And I was like, okay, you may not get to do all of
this person. I understand this person. I don't know who it is, but I get this person.
I can't remember who it was.
Okay.
And but I am curious, would you put in the chat, write it down, who isn't talented and seems to be the getting all the stuff?
Oh no, I'm not even saying Sorry, Kyle.
I just want morning tea.
No, it's people we've complained about before where you're like, everything?
Oh, they get to do everything. Yeah.
You are on every fucking show, you know? And
Yeah.
and again, good for you. It's more like I would, you know, every comic you're gonna take every opportunity you can. That totally makes sense. So I'm not against comics taking all of the opportunities if someone's offering them. I get it. I would.
Yeah.
It's just it's the frustration at the industry more than anything else.
Oh, then the comics. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's true. But there's but what I have to remind myself is that I didn't get into it for the money, because what a terrible idea that would have been. What a terrible plan.
It was a terrible idea. What was I thinking?
So I got into it because I wanted to do stand-up, and then it turns out I fell into a vat of Joker-like heroin. So
When we got into it, features were getting air, hotel, and $700. So yeah,
not anywhere near
the
me.
morning, but
not
what?
anywhere near me.
Yeah,
Whenever
no,
anyone
Alex Reed in San Francisco was
I wasn't anywhere near this
improv feature.
That wasn't anywhere near. MCs getting air, hotel, and $1,200 a week. That's I've had any number of dinosaurs tell me that story, and I was like,
I'm not a dinosaur. I'm your friend wearing a hat right now.
You are my friend wearing a hat. But I've had any number of people tell me that. I was there. It wasn't happening in Minneapolis. It wasn't happening in Milwaukee. It wasn't
happening out of San Francisco. It was happening. The Improvs, the whole chain was paying hotel and or condo and air and like $750 for features.
Yeah, and isolated. But that was in sort of larger venues. That wasn't how the road was working.
Worked. No, Spellbinders wasn't. It wasn't how a comedy house theater, like the lesser change. I'm saying it was dangled in front of us.
Right, there were 20 clubs in the country that were doing that, and if you could work those 20 clubs, that was 20 weeks,
twice a year at least.
Yeah, not anybody I knew, but yeah, but you were in San Francisco, which is a much different
yeah, it was, yeah. There was a couple people I think I knew, Ed Marquez.
But there still wasn't any, but you still shouldn't, I mean, the people who I knew were doing it for the money, quit doing it.
Oh yeah, no one does it for the money, right?
Right.
I was sort of kidding because
no, I know that.
Angled there was like this, like if you reach this certain level, you could make this much, and that much money, like with no expenses in 92, 93, that was a fucking lot. That was your rent in San Francisco, $750, $800, you know?
Right. I mean, I'm sure that was very that was a huge draw to you to try to get the time.
No,
but nobody ever but nobody ever dangled that in front of me. We had different experiences, even though we never met. I mean, we never met until you did the Dork Forest. It was like we had met like weeks earlier.
Oh, right.
Yeah. In like 2012, I think.
Right.
Yeah. I think the Improv. Well, I mean, we met like in passing at Tough Crowd, you said.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But that was super in passing. By the way, a woman, very nice young woman, who listens to, I think, to this podcast in the Dork Forest, was very irritated with me that I did not remember her. I met her 5 years ago at the St. Louis Helium.
Right.
And she said I did her podcast, and I was like,
oh no, I mean, she has a point. She has a point.
Oh, everyone has a point. I have a brain like a sieve. And I was like, you're just going to be happy. I was like, it's just nice to meet you again. How about that? And then we took a picture, and I said, here's the good news. You can show that to me in 5 years when I'm back.
Oh my
and
God.
say, how can you not remember me? And I'm like, you are correct. She's like, we talk all the time on Twitter. And I was like, I talk to everybody on Twitter. I am so sorry. And so
well, what can you do? It happens.
I guess keep plugging is all I do is keep plugging.
Can I say also, it's hard to recognize people when I'm wearing a mask because something about it, because it's limiting part of my vision, even though it's beneath my eyes, but it's like, it's taking away part of your peripheral vision, and that fucks with your head. Like, I have a hard time recognizing people. They aren't masked, but I have a mask because I'm part of me is like, what's beneath me? This whiteness, right? And it's kind of freaking me out a little bit that way. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't recognize anyone, and so I can barely recognize people I've known for years. Some guy, a comic, walked by me on the plane, and he was like, "Hey, Jackie," and I was like,
shit.
"That is a comic."
Oh no.
You know how you can always tell somebody's a comic just from their body? There's the way they sort of hold themselves, and you walk into a club and you're like, "Oh, those two guys are comics." Oh, staff. So,
I was at Danny Carter's room in, I think, Manhattan Beach. It's I forget what it's called. It's a one-nighter in a bar, and there's a woman just standing with the comics, and I just assume, I'm always like, comic of the week, like anytime it's a one night, I'm like, oh, your name to the list, and and I'm like, are you comic? And she's like, no. Oh. Don't be that insulted. Standing where we stand, and
right. It's too funny. I'm out of things.
You're out of things to talk about?
Just some.
We got 19 minutes left.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. That is quite some time.
Well, let's see. You have new material. What you were going to talk about that without doing it.
Right. Without running it by you. So,
by the way, you snuck a joke in last week that you admitted after the podcast.
Sure. It's well, the big head shake. You're like, nope.
The head shake of disapproval.
Exactly. Yeah, that's because you're better at riffing than I am. So if I see a point and purpose to, so I'm on Twitter. I'm talking to people. It's getting slightly heated on Facebook or Twitter or something like that.
Yeah.
And I said something that was essentially just shocking, right?
Yeah.
To because I posted something. There's a new law in New Hampshire that is all about, that forces women to have a baby if somebody comes forward and claims to be the father.
Fuck. Did that get passed, or is it still?
Yeah, I believe it got passed. So if a guy claims to be the father, he has the right to tell the woman who's pregnant that she has to bear the child.
Fuck.
And it worked into the bill is that he has to pay all prenatal. But who cares? But
it's not that much if you have health insurance.
Right. And then he has to, and then when that baby is born, you would then have to take him to court to pay child support.
Yeah, sounds like a great way to spend your life.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And so I was like, these people don't care about the children, right? I mean, it's obviously, and so some very clever, Nazi fuck was like, prenatal stops when the baby is born, dummy. And so he retweeted it. And so I got a bunch of these, anti-choice goony birds going, hey, dummy, prenatal stops, definition of prenatal, definition of prenatal.
Oh,
and I
my
was like,
God.
So I ended up blocking almost all of them and responding to a couple of people with, because one guy was, I went back and I looked at their feed and it was all about, making women, essentially regulating the holes in a woman's body. Mm-hmm. And it used to be, and the premise is essentially, we've come a long way, right? Women, it used to be that the entire sausage skin that is a woman with all of her orifices they were owned by your dad, by your brother, or by your husband. Mm-hmm. And they had complete autonomy over what went into those holes and what came out of those holes.
Mhm.
And we have since passed legislation that says that we have some say about what goes in. Like
We're allowed to control the shit that comes out. That's it. We're
no,
they gave us our poop.
no, they didn't even control. No, things that come out, we don't have any right over, right? Like once, supposedly we can say you can't rape me. You have to prove it. You have to go through hoops. You have to be called a whore anyway, and that you made a bad decision. But ostensibly, the law says that we get to say you can't just put things in my body. You can't just jam your dick into my ear, into my pussy or into my whatever. And wow, pussy out loud. Anyway, so it's not a word I say a lot. Exactly. But currently the law says that they can control what comes out of our body. Like once there is a fetus growing inside of us, we have to give birth. So that's the law currently in several states. Federal law says that we don't have to, but the state law says, and so the premise is essentially about the holes in our bodies.
The material you're working on.
The bit I'm working on, which is real clock eater here, because it took me a minute and a half to describe it.
Yeah, Jackie, I'm
can't wait for the 9-minute bit to come out that doesn't have any punchlines.
I have a law degree now. Thank you for
exactly. Hey, you should thank me.
I just did.
Second break.
Okay.
Yep. And then the other one is about how I'm not my dog's parent. And Maria helped me out with that a lot, actually.
That's cool.
That was a good one.
I put up I was at Flappers last week in the Who, in the Yoo-Hoo. And so I had a little bit of crowd work because a guy was filling out his comment cards during my dead mom. I went on the attack. And I posted it, and it has like I posted it on Facebook, like 6 people saw it, right? And Instagram, and it did okay on Instagram, and Twitter. I posted it directly on Twitter instead of it in a link off the site to my YouTube channel.
Yep.
Which 7 people look at, and it got, I think,
it's almost
300,000 views right now.
No, I thought it was 257,000 the last time I looked at it.
No.
Yeah,
Are you serious?
That's what I thought that's what I thought it had. It was great. Are you gonna check? That's so you're like, I have to go look.
It is something. I am.
I had 70,000 followers on TikTok.
Wow. See, I haven't dealt with TikTok. I haven't done, hold on, let me check and see.
Tiff Stevenson explained how to do TikTok to me.
Okay.
9 months ago or a year ago. And she's like, here's the hashtags to use. Try to post every day, try to do a stand-up clip, and it
so is she seeing an uptick in her people coming to see her and all that kind of stuff?
Tiff Stevenson, I don't know. I think but she's got a lot of followers on TikTok. I don't know how many, but she was just good at it. And I really like that thing that she does on TikTok. Yeah. And she does it on Instagram too, which is women writing like men.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's how men write women, but she is a woman writes men as men write women. So she's constantly talking about bouncing testicles and glistening lips and plump hair. It's
great. And that to me, like, I don't want to just post stand-up clip. I don't know. To me, if you can find something that will really work well on TikTok and you enjoy it and it's funny, that is like gold, because you'll enjoy it. It won't feel like the 10th, social media app you're uploading a clip to. You know what I mean?
I spent 31 days until I ran out of clips, and they were all old clips, right? It was NPR, it was Conan's, it was Horcrux, a pile of Horcrux clips. And what it did is it drove people to my TikTok, and it drove people to my live Zoom shows.
Did you feel like people bought more merch or anything like that? Or
they came and saw the shows.
The Zoom shows.
The Zoom shows. And people found me on TikTok. Because I would also do live TikToks.
Oh.
Yeah. So once you hit a certain number of TikTok followers, you're allowed to do live.
Oh, okay.
You're also allowed to monetize. I don't know how to do that. And I'm sure someone could explain it to me.
Mhm.
Please don't right now. I'm a little overwhelmed.
Right, right.
I've got yeah. So and oh, the other thing is the Dork Forest.
Uh-huh.
I'm recording them. I'm forgetting to upload them. So Tuesday showed up last week and I was like, oh shit, I forgot, because Darla did cooking. She did different recipes of ways, like she makes homemade chicken nuggets for the kids, and
Wow.
it's super easy and they really like it.
Mhm.
And she, so it was it's a great episode actually of the Dork Forest. And then this week it's my brother Phil,
Mhm.
and he's talking about fly fishing, and then I've yet to record, but I forgot to upload it. Like I got home on Monday and I just went to bed.
Yeah,
And the Dork
traveling is
Forest comes
hard.
out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shoot. So Tuesday day I uploaded it. So
Well, you know what? People have to understand. You're
they
traveling.
do. No, nobody busts my chop about it over at the Dork Forest because they're all nerds and they get me.
All right. About 193,000 views right now.
Oh,
I
a little bit less than
kinda
200 grand,
tapped
but I thought it was 250. So
Mm-mm.
what was yours that was,
But
because it was huge. I
but I
like
was-
your crowd work clips.
yeah, they're fun. And I don't give away any material. And then I got to argue with people in the comments. Of course, I love that. When they tell me it's not funny.
Right.
I can't leave them alone. Someone compliments me, I'm like, ugh. But if someone tells me it's not funny, I'm like, oh, really? Well, you know what? Comedy is subjective. And I guess I'm not for you. Please don't come see a live show. Like, I won't let them have the last word. It's really childish.
That's so sunny. Funny.
Everyone's taking, all the biggies are taking their stuff off of Spotify because of Rogan. But then people are defending Rogan are like, oh, it's censorship. It's not censorship. It's
No.
just a choice. Someone's
Yeah.
making, they don't want to be on the same platform that's paying Rogan $100 million and us fucking nothing for content they make money off of. Me, not me.
A lot of people are canceling their subscriptions, which I think is kind of cool. I never had one.
Yeah.
But I have a subscription to Amazon because I went in that direction. Nobody cares, but you can listen to all of my stuff on Amazon, and you can listen to whatever you like on Amazon. Quite honestly, it's just like Spotify.
I do Apple. You have to pick your streaming service, but
Yeah.
or you could buy the fucking CDs, people. Not
People
just
bought-
the musicians too. If you
People
listen,
bought CDs last night.
oh, they bought hard copies.
Yeah.
Oh, how many?
I've sold probably 20 in the last 2 weeks,
Really?
3 weeks. Yeah.
Have you made your money back that you spent buying them?
Well, I only got 300 of each printed, so they were
Yeah.
more expensive. So I think they were like $5 each or $3 each or something. And I
Oh.
charged $20 because it's an hour of my material. You can
Yeah.
give me $20.
Yes.
If you want to download it, it's $10.
It's nothing. And that price hasn't risen in 25 years, right?
Nope,
I mean,
not
albums were always like at least they were $9.99, right? That they should be. I mean, if you're gonna go by the inflation, comedy albums, record album, music, whatever should be $30.
It's funny. The
Something
youth,
like that.
the younger audience members will come up and they'll be like, "Can I get a shirt? How much are they?" And I said $20, and they're like, "Really?" And then they're like on my Venmo app, on my Venmo sign, like in a
Yeah.
heartbeat. They're like, "That's a great deal." And I was like, "Sure is." And then
Yeah.
we are done talking about that. But that's the whole
Sure.
story. It's a good one.
Shirts have always been around $20 though. They
Well,
haven't-
they're $35 on my website. And I give a deal if you buy my old albums. But get this, I'm almost out of my first album, Circus People. I'm
Mhm.
almost out of hard copies.
Mhm.
And CD Baby stopped selling them.
Mhm.
The hard copies, they had one, and they sent me a thing going, "Hey, we have too much of your merch in our warehouse." It's like, "You have one copy." And they're like, "Yeah, can we send it back to you?"
Oh my God.
Yeah, you can. It's like, "Oh, you have to pay for it. It's $4." I was like, "Okay, do whatever you need to do, CD Baby." So, I mean, So the first, I can't reprint that one, the hard copies of it, because I got in a fight with the printers,
Yes.
because they printed bread. That was my fault, the misprint of bread. But
Mhm.
then when Horcrux came out, was it Horcrux? Yeah, I think it was Horcrux. Horcrux or Hero, I had to cancel my order with them because they fucked it up so bad. And I was like, also give me my master back for CD for Circus People. And I think they did, and it's somewhere among my items. And but I don't want to find a new place and redo the art, because they're in old-timey jewel boxes, which means that I have probably a dozen of them with cracked jewel boxes.
I have so many of my 5 minutes to myself, and I'm as I can fit them in the trash, I throw them away. I just want them out, and you can't recycle them. It's so it's so frustrating.
Bring them.
They're like in cardboard, they're not,
Yeah.
but each one is wrapped in plastic. I'm like, this makes me sick to my stomach. I don't want to be part of this.
Yeah, they're all CDs. You just bring them on the road and sell them for 10, 20 bucks each.
Nah.
You don't even like the material anymore. Okay.
It's fine. Some of it's fine. And some of it, like I told you on Pandora or whatever, I'm like, before the track, I was like, I put a little disclaimer saying, I don't think I'd do this one now. Just so you know, but hope you enjoy my comedy that I don't enjoy anymore. But it's stuff about my son being Hispanic, and I'm like, oh, that's like white lady having a Hispanic son 101 material, in my opinion now.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't like, I don't know.
Wouldn't do it. Yeah.
But it's weird, like when female comics have babies, it's so funny because I heard, some new mothers talking, and we all kind of go to the same place comedically, right?
Because the experience is kind of the same.
Experience is like such a huge what the fuck to somebody who's been like a road comic, that it's like, oh yeah, like we all tell this kind of the same 10 jokes at first before you get on your feet and start being your own individual self,
Right.
It's interesting. It's like it's almost like you can't avoid it. Like
there's topics that are that big that everybody tells the same 3 jokes about, and then you have to make it your own. You have to figure out how to make it your own.
But like just I don't know how many times I've heard, including from me, I have to be quick, my baby's in the car. Some version of that.
Right.
And in fact, I think I was doing a show with Lisa Landry, and I was up after her, and she did it, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, well, I guess I won't. Maybe I shouldn't do it at all, because we're all
talking about it. But
it's it's that same. You're just thrust in this world of having to take care of something 24/7 that is so shocking.
Both Bill Dwyer and Augie Smith did jokes like that.
Yeah, I mean
about babies in the car and kids in the car and stuff.
Yeah, so, it's almost like your intro joke into a new topic, but I don't know. It's interesting. Anyway, so whatever. I'm slowly, I don't want to sell my CD. I just want it to go away.
You don't like money.
I don't see it as it's another thing to carry. Here's the thing, I'll carry a 1 pound book because
you're still happy with the book.
Yeah.
You're still proud of it. Yeah.
I mean, maybe not if I reread either of them, I'd be like, ugh, but I'm not going to ever.
Which is good, because you need to make some merch money, because it's entirely lunch money. It's tipping money. It's
tipping money.
It's cab money. It's it's extraneous being alive on the road money.
Yeah.
So I would like to go to lunch. I would like to tip somebody. I would like to take a cab. So yeah, it is not the income. Let's go away.